That's right. It's KP's Video News, y'all. Yep. KP's Video News. Telling you, man. You know, no matter how far we go, just seems as though, man, since the DC dunce had his little 4 years in office, man, the country has gone all the way back to the Jim Crow era. That's right, I said it. And so now we got to work our way back again, all the way over again. And seems as though, man, every time something happens, man, it's like the same people keep getting pushed, the same people keep getting disrespected, the same people keep getting lied to and abused, same people over and over and over again. Yep. So here we go with a situation where we have somebody that has less education, less intelligence than the lady in question. So therefore, they decide to, go through the motions here. So anyway, this is the story. They had a sheriff's deputy confused, according to him, a black third-year Roger Williams University law student as a defendant as she entered a courtroom to represent a client as part of the school's criminal defense clinic. She claimed last week the dean of her law school says that the mistake is all too common and an example of implicit bias in the courtroom. And law student Brooklyn Crockton alleges she experienced racial profiling during a recent visit to Garricky Judicial Complex as part of her school's criminal defense clinic. Because she goes to school in Rhode Island, she is allowed to represent indigenous defendants, those who have been arrested or charged with a crime, but are unable to hire a lawyer. Excuse me, folks. Lawyer due to suffering undue hardship in criminal cases under Supreme Court Rule number 9. In order for students to gain this experience in the state district court, they are required to work under the supervision of a licensed attorney on the RWU. Excuse me, people. Wow. Got something up here that has me sneezing. I don't know what it is. Anyway, she claimed that after the sheriff's deputy called for attorneys to line up and prepare to enter the courtroom, she was singled out and stopped, despite being the second person in line and possessing materials needed, binders and folders, to represent her client in the misdemeanor case. The official asked her, "Are you sure you're in the right courtroom? Are you the defendant?" So she said she had never been so embarrassed in her life. Felt like crying at the moment, but the crazy part is you hear stories like this all the time with black attorneys, but when it happens to you, it's so crazy that you don't even know what to say. She continued, "I literally have all these binders and folders, and I'm dressed pretty nice. And, so why would you assume that I am the defendant?" So said my brother's a lawyer and practices in Texas, and it happens all the time. One person stated. Another person stated that they have bailiffs ask if I'm the defendant's mother, and she represents teens, said one woman. And I had a judge look past me and ask where the lawyer is. So in the second video, Crockton shared the deputy apologized to her, but she believed it was hollow. She said once she explained that she is a student lawyer, he permitted her to enter the court and said, hey, sorry. That's it. There was no ounce of emotion in that sorry, she stated in the video. Throughout the day, the student alleged that the deputy continued to speak to her condescendingly. He acted like I never once in my life stepped inside a foot inside the courtroom. And this is where the judge sits, and this is where you sit. And when the judge asks you a question, you have to stand up and address him. Crockett, remember, I'm getting pretty weirded out and very anxious because every time he comes up to me, he's saying something very patronizing, and I want this experience to be done. When a supervising attorney and RWU professor, Andrew Horowitz, started talking to her, the deputy came over to the two and only spoke to her white teacher. She said the sheriff comes over and talks to him and literally does not even look at me, does not even address me. Horowitz, who serves as director of the Criminal Defense Clinic and assistant dean for experimental education for the school, was later made aware of the incident. He noted, just as the legions of comments did, that this was a systematic issue that many people of color and women encounter when dealing with the court system. What it shows is that implicit bias is a very serious problem in this country, Horowitz stated. It's very hard to find a single attorney of color who has not had the experience of being confused for a defendant or a litigant. He said, sadly, we live in a society where our preconceived notions of what an attorney should look like continue to exclude people of color and, to some degree, women. This is implicit bias is the judicial system, he states. It is a pervasive nationwide problem. I don't think there's a way to eliminate the kind of bias we all harbor, Horowitz reckons, but I do think we can and should engage in significant training so that people become more aware of those biases and develop strategies to avoid having those biases actively harming people. So this is not something. This is not it's all too common. He stated the institution will be working with the Bar Association and the judiciary to help address this problem, which is all too common, and a pervasive problem that really must be addressed in all the states and by all the court systems. And the law schools should take it serious. Already, the school is taking steps to address race and law as they prepare for the next generation of practitioners and lawyers. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So here's another case of discrimination. They had Black Panther director Ryan Coogler arrested after a Bank of America teller thought he was the bank robber. Ryan Coogler says the bank worked with me and addressed it to my satisfaction, but this situation never should have happened. And the movie maker was filming the sequel to the Disney movie, The Black Panther Part 2, and he went to the local Bank of America, to withdraw some money. So the 35-year-old director was wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a face mask, and the last time it has become a common accessory during the COVID-19 pandemic. When he approached the teller and passed a withdrawal slip, the police report stated Coogler had reportedly written a note on the back that said he would like to withdraw $12,000 of cash from his checking account, and please don't do the money count somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet. Plain and simple. Seems like to be a simple request to me. The note and large sum of money, which triggered an alarm on the banking system, appears to have been made the Bank of America worker suspicious. The teller, described as a pregnant woman, flagged the transaction for a supervisor. They called the police, and authorities reportedly handcuffed Coogler and detained two other people who were waiting for him outside. Bank of America spokesperson stated, "We deeply regret this incident occurred. It never should have happened, and we apologize, Mr. Coogler." Coogler released a statement and said the situation never should have happened. However, Bank of America worked with me and addressed it to his satisfaction. Wow. Imagine going to the bank wanting to discreetly withdraw a large sum of money of cash from your account, and you end up in handcuffs. Yep. you know. So it's just like, yeah, crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Mm-mm-mm. Tell you, boy, you can't even go to the bank. Banking while black. Yep. So next story here, we had a Bronx judge that said the testimony of an NYPD officer against drill rapper C Blue, who was accused of shooting a police officer, was misleading and had no value. At the hearing, where Judge Simaj ruled that 16-year-old Carmen C. Blue Williams should be tried as a minor, said that clear video appeared to show the police carrying out an arbitrary search on January 18th. Furthermore, it seems to Samaj that the video indicates the gun went off when arresting officers Kasim Pennant and Tulant Gobalaj grabbed at Williams' sides. If this is the case, the officer's actions caused both Pennant and Williams to be struck by the bullet. Colin Bodge testified that Williams was a member of a disorderly crowd, that he refused to take his hands out of his pockets, and that he fought the officers as they tried to arrest him. Police said it was during this fight that Williams fired the gun through his own leg, hitting Pennant. And so Simaj's analyst paints an entirely different picture. There was absolutely zero reason for any of those officers to approach this individual, she stated. They approached him, they detained him, and they searched him, and no other officer even bothered to come up with a halfway legitimate reason for any of that. Samaj said that Williams literally does everything you tell a child to do when they're approached by cops. He literally kept his hands up. He literally tried to record to make sure there was proof. He answered questions he had no obligation to answer. Williams and Pennant were both hospitalized following the incident and have since recovered. Mayor Eric Adams took advantage of the incident with Williams to denounce a 2019 bail reform law that, despite the law having no impact on the case. Yep. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So Williams was held on a $200,000 bail after a judge declined prosecutors' request that he would be held without bail. The bail reform law did not impact this case. They got a bail reform law, and the little corrupt new mayor they got over there tried to make a big deal out of it, tried to twist it all up, like this guy was the worst thing since Saddam Hussein. Yep. So we got another crazy here down in Florida. The Florida man who claimed to work for Biden threatened to arrest the sheriff, and a man allegedly sought out to arrest the local sheriff, but instead he ended up getting arrested. Robert Abel, 55 years old, allegedly claimed to work for President of the United States, Joe Biden, and threatened to go after Clay County Sheriff Michelle Cook for burglaries at his home. According to deputies, dispatch for Clay County Sheriff's Office got a call Friday about a man calling himself W. Gar, who said he had a meeting with the sheriff scheduled for Sunday. This escalated. From the arrest report, this person further stated that he worked for the president, and patrol units went on standby on the Sunday in question just in case the man arrived, and he did. Abel pulled up in his red Toyota, and the sheriff's office parking lot. Officials said he stepped out with a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol in a shoulder bag, wearing a green Army polo shirt, green camo pants, and tactical boots. Deputies said they confronted him, and he resisted their attempts to disarm him. The shoulder bag contained more loaded 40 caliber magazines, officials stated, and investigators also claimed to find similar material in his vehicle. Inside the truck was a ballistic plate carrier, complete with plates, which is a bulletproof vest, more loose 40 caliber ammunition, several military MREs. Those are meals. Uh, those are like the meals you just add water to, and some coffee and snack items. So I guess he was ready to go on the lam after he did what he had to do. He had MREs so he could survive. Deputy said they spoke to Abel in a recorded conversation at the jail. He allegedly admitted making the Friday call and said he was going to make a citizen's arrest of the sheriff. Abel claimed to work for the president of the United States, and he allegedly said he was going to meet Cook to confront her about burglaries at his home. Abel allegedly showed the investigator a gold ring featuring the engraving W. Gar. He said that the president gave it to him, officials said. Abel was charged with corruption by threat against a public servant, resisting the officer without violence, and carrying an illegal firearm or electrical weapon. He remains at Clay County Jail on a total of $200,000 bond. As of Wednesday, his attorney of record did not immediately respond for a request or comment. Bunch of sick folks out here. Folks. And here's one that kind of slipped through the cracks. Got a woman sues Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys owner, and she alleges that the owner paid her mother to conceal that he was her biological father. Wow. 25-year-old woman is suing Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, alleging that the billionaire paid her mother hundreds of thousands of dollars in 1996 to conceal that he was the girl's biological father. A secret that the lawsuit says she has carried her entire life. At the age of 1, the girl was bound to secrecy by a confidentiality agreement signed by her mother. Jones denied in settlement documents that he was the biological father of the child, but he paid the woman $375,000 in exchange for confidentiality, and had an Arkansas friend and lawyer named Donald Jack set up 2 trusts for the girl linked to her and her mother, keeping Jones' paternity a secret, according to the lawsuit, a copy of which was obtained. Texas judge ordered the case sealed this week after a motion filed by Jones's lawyer. And it was reported on a lawsuit earlier Wednesday. Alexandra Davis, who lives in Washington, D.C., filed her lawsuit against Jones, now 79 years old, in Dallas County last Thursday. It says Jones courted her mother, Cynthia Spencer, in 1995. She was working at the American Airlines ticket counter in Little Rock, Arkansas. Spencer was estranged from her husband at the time, the lawsuit stated, and Spencer has lived her life fatherless in secret and in fear that if she would tell anybody who her father was, she and her mother would lose financial support or worse. The plaintiff has had to endure the endless public profiles of her father and siblings while forced to remain secret to everyone, including her closest confidants. Jones and his wife, Jean, have 3 children, and Jim Wilkerson, a spokesman for Jones, declined to comment. And Dallas Davis has asked a court to be recognized as Jones's daughter and to be released from the confidentiality agreement that her mother agreed to when she was a baby. It's hard to imagine what would be less in the best interest of a child than to enforce agreements that leave a child without a father and which prevent or legally punish a child from even stating who her father is. The lawsuit alleges Jones abandoned and shunned Davis and forced her to live in secrecy after her birth in Little Rock in December 1996. And wow, like I said, Jones allegedly to have set up 2 trusts that the lawsuit alleges contained the hush money payment and the hush money terms, including $375,000 paid to Davis. Spencer. Jones agreed to provide through indirect means and with his personal identity hidden ongoing financial support for Cynthia and the plaintiff, so long as Cynthia remained silent about the fact that he was the plaintiff's father, the lawsuit alleges. It Cynthia failed to maintain such silence. The report would end at the defendant Jones' discretion, and Cynthia would supposedly be in a breach of the deal. The lawsuit was posted on the Dallas County Court's website Monday and thus available to hundreds of Texas lawyers and other members of the public. The team discovered it late Monday and on Tuesday went into court and persuaded the judge to place Davis' lawsuit temporarily under seal, pending a March 31st hearing. And last month it was reported that the Cowboys paid $2.4 million confidential settlement with 4 members of their cheerleading squad who accused a now former teen executive of voyeurism in their locker room in December 2015. So in the second allegation, a Cowboys fan who was watching a live stream from the team's war room during the 2015 NFL draft swore an affidavit that he saw one of the coaches taking upskirt photos. Wow. So this Cowboys coach who retired February 2nd did not respond to the request for interview. And it's yep. So, I'm telling you, man, guys out there doing a bunch of crazy stuff, man. They're doing a bunch of crazy stuff out there. You got to watch them. KP's Video News, y'all. So what I want y'all to do is just go ahead on and sign up, subscribe to KP's Video News, share this video, share it with your family, your friends, your enemies, your frenemies, and anybody else out there. Go ahead on and do that. And hey, you might end up winning a prize. You never know. KP Video News, y'all.